just 6.
Honestly, I don't blame everybody for wanting to ramble, because it's been a while. We've got a lot of rambling to catch up on.
Yeah, and it's been there's been an awful lot of fucking here, have some fucking bullshit drama, which I think we're all at this point kind of burned out on. I hope I'm speaking for everyone, but if I'm not, by all means, you can carry on enjoying drama, but at this point,
I am personally still incomprehensibly pissed at Wes.
Yeah, I get it.
More than happy to never talk about him for the rest of my life.
There we go.
So, who remembers what we were going to be doing as of the previous session?
I do, but
Because
if
what
anybody
I
else...
remember,
Sorry.
what I remember is that you guys have managed to get to Donheim, but for the life of me, I can't recall what happened after that.
We got to Donheim. We went to a shop that was selling mostly. You said was going to sell magical equipment, but it was basically magical mining equipment, which I, for the life of me, couldn't find a reason to or way of converting for use for us. But we might have been able to. I don't know. And then we found out that we had to get in by nighttime, and so we started looking for an inn of some sort, because apparently wyverns fly around and kill people once the lights are out, essentially. We did find an inn, and I believe I was looking out the window going, ooh, small dragons, whilst Ez went and found a bar to get a drink in. I think that pretty much sums it up very briefly. I can't remember any more details.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I do remember it being a bit of a unimpressive session.
It was an awful lot of, you've walked for a long time, you've got to this place, let's talk about this. Yeah, not a lot happened. Because the session before that we had big fight with crab riding water elemental.
Yes. Which was definitely one of the more exciting sessions so far.
Yeah, it was a good session.
But
That was
anyway,
a good fight.
Roughly how long do you think it'll be before you can hit live?
Give me 2 minutes.
Righto. I'm going to continue looking at distractions until that happens. Oh, look. A distraction.
Okay, I think come on. Working? You mean please off. Work you bit. Okay, it's streaming. I can go live anytime you like. Shall we go live? Vote on going live. Anyone that says hi, aye.
Yeah, let's go live. Why not?
I'm the only one that counts anyway, so yeah.
Yeah.
Right, we're live.
Excellent. Well, maybe we'll have someone watch today, but given the fact that it's been such a long time since the previous session, I wouldn't be surprised if we have successfully managed to drive away everybody who may have been interested with our absence.
Our one, maybe 2 viewers, yes.
Yes.
Well, they've found other things to do. It is 10 o'clock on a Friday night.
Yes, it is. Wow, 10 o'clock already.
It ain't indeed, yeah.
Oh, I wasn't kidding when we said we had a lot of blabbing to catch up on.
You guys are about to have daylight savings, right?
Yeah. Oh, don't.
I do too. It is stupid.
Does that mean we're about to lose an hour or gain an hour?
I don't care. It means my time's going to be fucked up for a week.
It means you skip an hour.
Yeah. You leap.
Oh,
Sorry.
good.
It's skip forward, leap back. Isn't it?
It's spring backward, fall forward.
Yeah, spring backwards, fall forward. That's it.
You're welcome.
Either way, I'm going to be fucking late and
I love ruining mnemonics.
off timing for everything.
I quite like daylight saving.
Why?
Get out.
Look, I'm
I like
entirely
getting an extra
ambivalent.
hour.
You don't get an
I'm
extra
entirely
hour.
You don't get nothing.
don't.
You just
No.
changed the numbers.
No one's creating more time. It's not like
Also,
fucking
even if-
Santa
also,
comes along and goes, "Here you go, have more to know." No, it's just
Also,
fuck around with your clocks.
Also, even if you were to take it like seriously in that way, you skip an hour and then later you do an hour twice.
Yeah.
Which does leave
Yeah.
the amusing possibility of in chats being able to say you said that 3 minutes from now. But
It's great because
every year there's about a odd 1,000 or 2,000 software systems that completely crash on a given night because 2 o'clock happens twice.
it's great because you get to. It's amazing that we can force everyone in the country to change
just
their clock.
Okay. The whole thing about daylight savings being good because funny, I can
Oh, yeah.
appreciate that.
saw someone in
But
a
on
VC
the
alone,
other-
so I had to go say, haha, you're alone. Anyway, I'm back.
Who is?
But no,
Uh.
seriously though, it's great because it means you actually get more daylight hours, especially when you're coming into the winter. Because otherwise you end up. Otherwise the sun's all skew-ish.
Well, okay.
You
The
know-
thing
you
about
know,
daylight
you-
savings is that
Instead of
it's
changing the
atrocious
clocks,
because
we could just change our operating patterns if it mattered that much. So you start at 8 o'clock in the winter instead of 9 o'clock. There you go, problem solved.
Exactly.
The winter doesn't change. It's the rest of the year. But yes,
Yeah.
anyway, yes. You could say in summer we start doing things an hour earlier. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
We did it.
Yeah, but come on, how much does it matter for most of the people in the country?
The only
what time
reason,
of day you start work?
if I remember right, the only reason it was done was basically during the earlier part of
World
this
War II.
century. Yeah, because
For farmers.
no, it was
No,
actually more.
you're thinking of summer break.
Yeah, it was actually more to do with getting people to the factories and during light times and there
Is to get people to use less energy on lighting because somehow changing the
No,
numbers accomplished this. It's
this
that retarded.
This whole daylight savings thing has been happening since days of yore, and it's because if we don't do this, we have to make the sacrifice to Kronos, god of time, of an hour. Otherwise, he will absorb all time and will just be left in the
Yeah,
vacuous
but why does it
void.
give it back? Also, why does it give it back
He
every
gives
year?
it back as part of the contract. It's to show that we're trustworthy to this
It's not a
god.
sacrifice if you get it back.
Kronos
Kronos
is
was not the god
dead.
of time, he was the god of the Titans.
yeah, he was dead. He fucked up. He kept on eating his kids,
ate
and they
them
fucking
kids.
and they tricked him and gave him fucking
He
rocks
was
instead.
eaten- he
and
was
then the
beaten with
Olympians were
fucking
born.
indigestion. He was
Is that
beaten
what
by
happens every
fucking
generation in
indigestion.
Chicago?
Pretty much, yeah.
Look, Jack of the Green dies every year as well, and he still sprouts
Jack
back.
of the
Now we're
Jack of the
overthrowing
Green
them.
dies every year after shagging his mum. That's the most
What?
degenerate fucking pagan religion
Yeah,
bullshit ever.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
So, Coach, Jack of
Somebody
the
needs to
Green.
elaborate.
Yeah, Jack of the Green is the spirit of spring, a spirit of spring in pagan traditions, right? Now, his cycle is that he dies every year in autumn, right? However, during that whole summer period, he's been banging his mother, and his mother in spring gives birth to him again.
This is also you may have encountered the myths of the Green Man, etc. It's all Jack of the Green. It's all the sort of the spirit and of life and birth and rebirth of the seasons, in Celtic pagan tradition. Bunch of degenerates and honestly, as far as pagan religion's concerned, the Norse, the Greek, the Roman way better than the fucking Celts.
Oh, this is great. I've just found an amazing Jack of the Green picture that shows like the traditional Beltane, but it's comic book styled. It's even got the blackface in it.
I mean, the blackface bit is kind of funny. It makes people very, very upset these days, even though it has nothing to do with certain sub-Saharan of
No, it's to do with chimney sweeps.
Exactly.
But yeah, essentially you have a whole bunch of Morris dancers turn up. They do a dance with loads of bells to wake up Jack of the Green, and then a guy in a tree costume dances around in a circle of lit fires, and generally the tree also catches fire at some point because it's made of dry wood.
Yes,
That adds up.
Set some poor sod on fire.
Yeah, and what you end up with is some poor sod in a metal cage that's covered in dry leaves and bark, dancing around in a circle of fires. It's great fun. While people play jolly music.
Oh, I bet the health and safety people wouldn't like that these days.
Well, they don't get a say. We do it on a hilltop.
Is a bit. Normally, I would say that health and safety has too much of a stranglehold on society, but I think in instances like these, they might have a point.
No, actually, what we do is when they come to complain, we gag them, we stick them in the tree costume. And sacrifice them to the spring.
How's this for health and safety, you bastard?
And then
we get
the naked, white-clad fucking chicks out who dance around the fire, and then there's the blood.
Actually,
wait, did you say
no,
naked,
not with
white-clad,
Jack the Green.
as in they're naked and they're wearing stuff?
They're white-clad at first, then they get naked, then there's the blood orgy. Yeah.
No, not with Jack of the Green. Jack of the Green
that's a different one. Sorry, my mistake.
Yeah, no. Jack of the Green is you get to the end, and when he dies in springtime, you have the Festival of the Winter Queen. Right. At which point, all of Jack of the Green's enemies come out, represented by certain people in the community who strip down to absolutely nothing and fire juggle while just painted in red like body paint.
Makes sense.
I guess the red body paint is also highly flammable.
Mm-hmm.
No, but they represent the torches, which are at war with the Winter Queen. Basically, Jack and his mother get on some degenerate incest mess. He has a fight with all of the other seasons except the Winter Queen. The Winter Queen just sits there and waits until they get all tired, and then goes, right, well, all of those guys are done absolutely making a mess of each other. I guess I'll step up.
And this is why when the Romans got to England, they went, holy shit, these guys are a bunch of fucking savages. Should we stay here? Yeah, let's fuck off. Oh no, we'll go back again. Oh no, they're dressed in blue and naked and oh shit, let's go away again. Oh no, we'll come back again. There's got to be something worth it. Oh, the weather's shit. We've beaten them. But now the fucking weirdos at the top of this country are fucking attacking us. Let's build a wall.
Yep.
And then eventually it was just like, it's really not fucking worth it. Let's just fucking leave it.
Here we go.
I'm pretty sure the only reason why the Romans stuck around for as long as they did is because they discovered that in one specific area of the country, hot water happens just from the floor.
This is from 2023 in Edinburgh for the Festival of the Torch.
The only bunch that ever fucking came over and invaded that didn't go, you're a bunch of savages, were the fucking Vikings. Because they were as bad, and by that time, England was weirdly Christian, sort of. A bit. Kind of. And that looks kind of fun. I mean, it does look kind of... I mean, there's a lot of red and naked at the same time.
Yeah, to enter, you have to go through a giant, archway that they make out of fire.
Nice.
And you have to go past a whole bunch of people with, there's an entrance ceremony with people who are dressed in red, totally naked apart from holding fire, and wearing a stag's head.
Nice. And is there a table with certain spring herbs and mushrooms and various other things that people partake in before they get naked, paint themselves red, and have the orgy?
Fuck.
Here you go. This is the Winter Queen,
Because this
as
is
she's represented there.
nice.
And generally, yes, they do a mock sacrifice these days of the Winter Queen. But in ancient times, they would have actually sacrificed her to allow the seasons to renew
Yes.
on a blood altar.
Which is why it wasn't a good idea to be a virgin back in.
Yeah, but they still use to this day in Edinburgh the same blood altar that's been used since ancient times. They just don't actually plunge a knife into their chest in a public ceremony anymore.
That's just fucking gay. I mean, if you're gonna do it properly. Some fucking there's plenty of Scots too. Just pick
Well, it's like sword dancing in Morris. They do mock decapitations now instead of decapitating a member of the public.
again. I can find plenty of members of the public. I mean, they're shipping them over in small boats at the moment. I'm sure we could decapitate a few of them. You know,
Do the gods want that?
some. Depends on.
I
the
mean, like
god.
as a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like-
Oh yeah, sacrifice is supposed to be meaningful, isn't it? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It'd be like sacrificing
Oh, yeah.
a pig to a lie. It'd be like, ew.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. You make a fair point.
Yeah. Well, the point of a sacrifice is that you're supposed to be giving up something that you value, which is why when, for example, Catholics go through Lent and they sacrifice something, it's something that they would otherwise get great enjoyment out of. For example, drugs in some cases. But sacrificing
Something you want
boat
gone
people,
anyway.
yeah, that's kind of like saying that's kind of like the pagan equivalent of a Catholic saying, for Lent, I think I'll give up drinking seawater. Yes, I think I can manage that.
Hey, look, I
It's
gave
less
that up
that.
a long time ago. It was tough to kick, but I managed it.
It's less that.
That's gross.
It's like going to a Christian harvest festival and taking your empty sweet wrappers.
Oh dear.
Damn, yeah.
I can only imagine that a laugh that hard has not helped your headache.
Actually, the headache's fine now. I'm good. I think what I really needed was to see some naked chicks painted red, having what looks like some sort of weird pagan orgy thing. That's cheered me
Okay.
right up.
There's a lot of drugs involved as well. It's great.
Of course, there's a lot of drugs involved. It clearly looked. I mean, it looked like a rave that I went to on any given Friday between the ages of 19 and 29.
These are not photos taken of sober people.
Yes,
Oh.
we did not have, thankfully, back at that point in time, there weren't many people with cameras on their phones, and also you don't go to a rave and take photos. That's very, very verboten. You could take a photo in any different angle and catch at least 40 crimes being committed.
Just for a idea of how big this thing is, because you say it's like just any rave. No, this is huge.
I've been to raves that
Oh
big.
wow.
That's pretty fucking banging though. Look at that. That's some. Oh, that's nice. Daisy, I know a fair
That
few
looks-
people that would go, "Oh, Satanism," at that, but nah, no, that's paganism. That's a whole fucking different thing.
You've got to admit it's an easy mistake to make.
Yeah, people get a bit fucking upset at the whole red, but there's a reason Christianity sort of adopted a lot of pagan stuff, including the fucking the evil side of symbology. But that's
Oh, here we go.
fun.
This bit you'll like, Craig, as well.
Yeah, nice tits. In fact, yeah. that does look a lot like. Anyway, misspend your youth, guys. It's worth it. You get to look at pictures like that, going, "Am I in the background now?" No. I kind of remember something like that happening. I'm not sure whether I was just off my fucking tits or whether it actually happened. But yeah.
Either you were off your tits or on some tits.
I always fucking enjoyed going to places, going to sort of those types of clubs and events outside, and you'd get fire twirlers and fire poi people and stuff like that. And if you're if you've accidentally eaten something that might have disagreed with you in some way and given you some sort of odd effects that you wouldn't honestly ever actually seek out on purpose, of course. Euphoric sort of foods and mushrooms, definitely no. Couldn't ever recommend doing those.
Oh yeah, yes. Imagine losing control of your mental faculties.
Absolutely no, you don't do stuff. But if you have, by some unfortunate accident, fire twirlers are fucking amazing to look at. I mean, to be honest, fire twirling's fucking amazing. Especially fire poi is amazing anyway.
I'll be back in a minute or two.
Yeah.
Cool.
We've got fire staff in the back garden if you want to.
I know you've got a fire staff in the back garden. I've seen you use it. It's very, very cool.
If I ever find myself over at your house again, I might have to ask for a demonstration on that, though preferably without mind-altering substances.
Yay.
That's not my kind of thing.
Yay.
I'm sorry to say, I'm far too boring for that.
Weak. I agree. Not anymore. Never again. I might joke about misspent youth, and yeah, there was a certain amount of misspent youth a long, long time ago. You are also very likely to encounter some very unfortunate events, and see people go very, very off the tracks, and that's not for the faint-hearted, and it is often quite tragic. Don't do shit like that. Is the advice I would give if I was being serious. Do not, unless you feel absolutely drawn to it. In which case, no, you are A, crossing some legal lines, and B, walking some very fucking dangerous path. A lot of people, do just fine. A lot of people fucking die too. And a lot of people in the middle go fucking crazy, do even, committing more crime, have very fucking nasty side effects, go fucking all sorts of nasty side effects. It's not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah. Drugs are a bit nuts.
Mm-hmm. But there is a reason why people do it. They do enjoy themselves. Until it goes bad. And it will. But, yeah.
Well, the thing to bear in mind about drugs, as far as I'm concerned, is that just so long as you make sure not to lose control of yourself to the point where you consider yourself to be a completely different person afterwards. Those are the kinds of experiences that only the really troubled people of the world should seek out.
One of the things that really annoyed me, this was about a decade ago now. There was a group of young 20s went off on a camping trip, essentially. They drove off to a nearby woodlands where they were out of the way of everyone. They locked the car with no intention to go back into it and took some psychoactive drugs and sat by their tent having some drinks as well. They then proceeded to get arrested because the police had followed them and gone, "We don't like what's happening over there." thinking it was suspicious behaviour where they were heading off to. And I was looking at it thinking these people have intentionally taken themselves out of the way of anywhere where they can do anyone else other than themselves, who are entirely consenting adults, any harm, and they're still getting hit for it. What right do the police have here? It's one of the big turning points for me regarding police, actually.
Yeah, policing. It did take a turning point at some points with regards to policing, because yes, you are no longer, and haven't been allowed for quite a long time, to do things at your own risk that aren't going to harm anyone. The classic, it's a victimless crime. I'm doing this because I consent to doing this, and I know the risks. Please don't care about that. It's no. It says here this is against the law. Therefore, we're going to fucking do you physical harm sometimes in trying to stop you from doing something that is possibly harmless.
I think it was just weed as well.
Yeah.
Logan.
Hey,
the
welcome back.
tendency for the tendency for UK police to go so
Overstep.
hard on people who are just trying to mind their own business and successfully minding their own business without disturbing anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
That has been a growing trend that I've noticed.
It is a lot more recent than people realise as well. It is certainly in, bear in mind, in the First World War, you could go to a boots chemist, pharmacist, and buy just about anything we've just been hinting towards over the counter. An awful lot of the prohibition of substances has come in the last 100 years. And it's become much more aggressive with regards to policing in the last 50, 60 years. It is all within, some people's lifetimes that we have gotten to this sort of very close to being, totalitarian / dictatorial rule in this country. And it's not just this country, it's a lot of others as well. The 20th century, people will look back at the 20th and 21st century, and it won't just be the Soviet Union, it won't just be China that they look back on and go, everyone the whole fucking world really is overstepping the mark at the moment with regards to liberty.
But criminals use thing, so the only way to deal with that is to ban thing, because criminals will listen to the fact that it's been banned.
Yeah, that is one of the worst paradigms that have ever managed to take root in my lifetime. Like, there is just no logic there.
It's because the logic of it is actually, when you look into the actual logic, is dangerous to a lot of ideologies. Because if you go, let's have a look at who's committing these crimes, who's doing the this, the that, the other. All of a sudden, the police can't act because they turn around and go, if we act, everyone's going to call us racist for a start. And certainly since certain riots that happened back in the 80s, in Birmingham in particular is one I'm thinking of, they realised quite a while back that the UK used to be policed by consent. There are certain groups of communities that do not consent. And as a result, you actually can't police those areas, because if you do, they kick off. And again, we're looking at sort of serious race crime, race war kind of sort of tier areas, and anyone that happens to notice and point out in a public way will be smeared as racist and decried, because the government dare not do anything about it, because the classic one is it's the government daren't breach the king's or the queen's or the king's peace. Breaching the king's peace is the primary thing that the police have to stop, and keeping that peace means at this point kowtowing to certain groups, which that can't continue. Really can't.
Yeah.
It's going to get bad.
It's a terribly unfortunate fact of life that there are certain cultures which just simply cannot coexist, and we are being slowly subsumed by one of those cultures.
We will see. We will
Yep.
see. You know, it's
Hopefully circumstances will come about which will result in people with the ability to think soundly and ahead of time sufficiently to be able to head off the problem that so many people, like those of us here talking right now, are able to see coming from a mile away. But I personally don't keep my hopes up.
No, that's wishful thinking. What will happen is what happened in Spain and various other countries in Eastern Europe and various other places, which is it will get bad, it will get worse, it will get extremely bad, and then there will be a fucking rebellion against it that will sweep
Yeah,
the country like a fireball. But you know,
things need to get worse before they get worse. Then
yes.
So we've got 90 minutes of game time left. We are in town. There are wyverns, right?
Yes. Let's do that before the police come and arrest us for various
yes.
thought crimes.
Well, then I forgot that we were supposed to be playing D&D.
Yeah. So we had gotten to I think we'd gotten to a tavern. Can't remember the name of the tavern.
That's because I didn't give it a name at the time, but I have since then come up with a name.
Go on then.
And the name is rather unfortunate.
That's a strange name for a pub.
You guys, I know.
You know, I quite like that. I quite like the idea of a tavern just called Rather Unfortunate. We'll have a round at the Rather Unfortunate.
Well, no, I think I will have to remember that. But no, the one that you're at right now is called just simply The Pit. It's you. If you
Can we
guys
call it
remember,
just simply for short?
you went to a tavern that was on the poor side of town, that was primarily there to serve the workers of the now somewhat defunct mines in the area, and as a result of that, the tavern is called The Pit because it's where the miners go.
I mean, that's not unfortunate at all.
But yes, I think I'm going to have to at some point name a tavern the Rather Unfortunate, because that is a fucking cracker of a name now that you pointed out. Right. So in the night, Bobby was able to wake himself up in order to witness a wyvern flying about the town, seemingly doing some kind of patrol-like thing, and then witnessing as it launched a fireball and presumably eviscerated some poor sheep on a nearby cliffside. Yeah. Bobby was not able to see what the dragon was firing at, but he did hear the impact and subsequent explosion of a fireball. With that said, it seems as though nothing of significance occurred throughout the rest of the night, and by the time your party has risen to a point of consciousness, you are able to see, looking out the window, that there is a degree of activity going about, and people seem to be having a merry old time, and it appears as though there is genuinely either very little or no risk for going about in day-to-day life, so long as the sun is up. With that said,
Kiki, you're muted, babes.
what is it that you're all going to do?
Right.
Kiki's trying to say something, but I guess we can't hear it. Kiki?
Kiki, what are you saying?
Well,
I'm
Coat,
trying to get
are
her
you
to
there?
speak, and she's going, "No, I'll echo through your microphone." So I turned my microphone off and demanded she speak, and she's gone all embarrassed now. Right, okay. So what are we doing? I guess breakfast, and let's find out where the treasure is in these mines, and also if anyone would be interested in a wyvern extermination service, and also do we have any wyvern steaks left? I would imagine they sell a banging trade in wyvern steaks just as a kind of a revenge kick.
I think we still got some.
Well, in regards to potential wyvern meat, it's not anything that you've heard of, but if you want, you can go ask the tavern owner. But and if assuming you do, you would be quickly informed that, in fact, no, they have not yet managed to slay any wyverns themselves, and they have been waiting for a regiment from the dwarven military to come into the town and drive the beast off or even slay it in its entirety. But there is currently no ETA on when that may or even may not happen.
Well, I don't mean to brag. I don't like to brag. I mean, we're bards. We're humble folk. But bragging is what am I? Of course, am I kidding? I love to brag. Yeah, we kill wyverns. In fact, we got some bits of wyvern here. Rummages around in sack and sort of shows. We've got claws. We've got some steaks. Tasty steaks. Wyvern taste lovely. What else did we get? Did we get some teeth? Some scales. Anything we've got, we'll go. Yeah, look,
We got the poison
wyvern.
bits off the end.
Anyone wants souvenirs? Souvenirs of wyverns are fucking with you in a big way. Hang one of these outside your door. Scare the wyverns off. Guaranteed, will not piss them off at all.
Well, the bar owner who is seeing you flash around these bits of wyvern and looks rather impressed by the whole thing is he looks at you and says, "Well, I can't offer you too much gold for what you're offering there, but if you'd be willing to provide the head of that beast from that was flying overhead last night, I'd certainly be able to pay you a pretty penny for that. Think,
See, it's a
yeah,
big
well,
head on that wyvern, and we're small people. It'd be a lot to carry it back.
Oh, we could do
oh
it. We'll just
well,
get
I'd
a
be
piece of bit of cloth and stick the head in the cloth and we'll just drag it like a sledge or something. We'll find a way. How much are you talking?
look.
We're talking big money. We're talking. Do you have a notice board? Is there a drowner contract we can do?
He
You know,
strokes his beard for a moment and says, "Well, business has been pretty shite for me recently, but how about if you can manage to get that thing dead?
right.
I'll pay you 400 for the thing's head as a trophy, and if you can then manage to find your way back here in a couple months' time, I'll give you another 1,000 afterwards. I'd need some time to make the money back, you see."
Seems fair.
How long have these wyverns been attacking then? Because everyone seems pretty used to it by now.
Guys, I've got a great idea, right? If we can get this off him, yeah, maybe we can get a similar bounty off different people for the same wyvern. I'm thinking shares in mines. I'm thinking ownership or part ownership of various businesses. We could fucking own this town for eating one fucking bird.
Is
Just
it
saying.
just one?
Well, no, if they all
We could have our own.
want bounty on just that one,
We could have our own silver mining business.
or partial shares in the silver mine. Yeah, exactly. We don't need to forge documents if we actually own fucking shit. I'm not saying that out loud. I might say that out loud. Yeah, fuck it. I'm saying that out loud because I'm a dodgy little fucking halfling.
Well, the do you say this within with any effort to try and to try and hide this open plan from the man you're talking to?
No, he's offered me a contract. We will heartily accept his bounty, and go. Look, guys, why don't we go and see if there's any? Maybe the mine owner wants that wyvern dead as well. We won't be able to give him the trophy because we've promised it to this chap, unless somebody offers us more, of course. But
we could offer him a different part as a trophy. Maybe he wants a claw.
yeah. Maybe somebody wants wyvern dick, or wyvern claw, or wyvern wing, or
Well,
nostrils.
why don't we just auction off parts of it?
Exactly. We've got
And
assets
Or
down
an
here.
auction in the middle of town.
Cardgar, can you make bits of wyvern?
We're not making bits of wyvern, that's a con. We're going to actually do this right. We're going to go over there, we're going to dress as orcs, we're going to fucking mock it to its face, and then we're going to kill it, and we're going to chop it into little bits and sell them. And then we're going to sing songs bragging about how we did it.
Well, as you're saying this, the dwarf owner he's stroking his beard and he says, "I think if you were to try and do something along those lines to, sell off various bits and pieces to people around the town, you'd definitely be able to make some money there. But if I were in your situation, if I were in your shoes, I'd just kill the beastie and then see about trying to get something from the old king as a here we did this. Here's proof. What you gonna give us?"
Not a bad idea. Or we could offer and see if we could get him to, give us some sort of bounty up front. We might be able to get him to, give us a decent incentive. Maybe a little bit up front. A nice bit of dwarvish, kit. Does he have a daughter?
That I don't know. I think he doesn't actually have an heir.
Well, how
He's
does
not
he
that
breathe?
I've heard. Through his nose, presumably. You cheeky little shit. Right. Well, that's something that I could potentially work with. If you want to get that sold to me, it certainly make the pit the talk of the town for at least a little while. That thing's been holed up in the old gold mines now for at least 6 months, a year, maybe.
Okay, see what we can do.
We-
So you said king. Where does this king live then? I'm assuming the castle. Let me guess.
No,
Huh?
he lives over in the residential palace in Warrenheim. You'd have to make your way all the way northwards for that.
Residential Palace, Warrenheim.
Aye, the northern capital.
Oh well, bloody hell, that's a hell of a walk. Who do we talk to here?
I'd be the mayor.
Okay.
But he wouldn't be able to give you much in the way of reward money beyond what we private businesses can. Although you would be able to get an official seal that would basically say, yeah, these guys were responsible for slaying the wyvern and doing the job of a regiment, so they're owed some goodwill and reward. So you'd want to speak to him for the purposes of getting yourself something to grant your access to a chat with the king.
I think we do that. I think we go and sort out something with the mayor. Perhaps. How are people about street busking in this area? Do we have to have a license, or can we just sort of slap a performance up wherever we feel like it?
License? Sounds elvish to me.
Yeah.
No, if you want to. The way it works around here is how it works in most areas of the dwarven kingdoms. Do as you please, and if you're pissing off people off, you might get an axe in the back.
Seems fair.
Aye. Keeps people polite.
So, do we have a town square or something? I reckon. What do you reckon, guys? We put on a bit of a show. We do a bit of a song and a dance about how we killed the wyvern. Maybe that poem and some other bits and bobs that we were messing around with. Put on a bit of a show. See if we can't get some people making some offers, and you know.
If you're gonna put on a show, I might recommend that you go over to Clean Side.
Yeah.
Uh,
Where people have money.
Mine side is, aye, oi.
Hey, I mean, you know, my eyes work. I know where we are. I'm not judging. I just, you know, if we're going to get paid, we may as well find people that have got, you know, fat purses. They tend to pay more.
Look, we make the money and then we spend it over there. That's the way it works around here.
Great, wonderful. So let's fuck off over there and sing them a song.
And then they can spend their money over there.
Yeah.
He
Right.
just kind of huffs at that idea.
So, sorry, big fella, I didn't get your name.
Oh, Gorgry.
Gorgry. A pleasure. Thanks for the your hospitality. Let's go do some improv, guys. You know, bit of a song, bit of a dance, and get a bit of bragging. Tell everyone how we are mighty slayers of dragons and wyverns, and you know, destroyers of slaver rings, and how we've defeated the orcs, and this. You know, we'll just tell them our story. We'll be honest with a minor bit of acknowledgement.
We can't just brag about ourselves. We've got to tell the story of a group of dragon slaying bards.
Yeah, like I said, ourselves.
Yeah, you don't say it. You don't say it's yourselves though.
No,
you
we
let
don't.
them infer it.
No, this time we say it's ourselves. Yeah, so they go, please, mighty warriors, go and slay this wyvern over there. We'll all chip in X amount. And we go, right, that's it, fantastic, sign here, minted. Off we go, and we kill the wyvern.
Hmm.
By the way, do we know if wyverns are intelligent?
That would be either a nature or arcana check.
Can I
and
do a
feel free to
nature
have
check
anybody
on
make that?
Because
I mean, they're picking fights with us. They can't be that smart.
yeah, but we're picking fights with them. That maybe we work in reverse. I mean,
Yeah.
I thumbed through that book of dragons to try and prove Cardgar wrong about dragons. So I surely must have picked up something there. Does that give me any advantage on this roll?
I would love it. I would
How
love
about I
it if
give
the
you
only
bardic
thing.
inspiration?
Go on then.
I would love it if the only thing listed in the Book of Dragons about wyverns is this is not a dragon.
So you add a roll 2d8 and pick the one you want.
Oh, I'll pick the last one. So that'll be a 16 total.
No, that'll be a 24.
Okay, lovely, thank you.
Having read the book and it still being somewhat fresh in your mind means that you would have advantage on this. And recalling information that you spotted in that little book about dragons, you would be able to recall that wyverns are considered dragon kin. They are related to dragons. You don't remember how exactly. You suspect it's probably some kind of weird nonsense that the gods did a long time ago, but basically they share a lot of the same characteristics, but the main difference between wyverns and true dragons is the intelligence. Wyverns have approximately the same intelligence as a dog.
You're gonna say. Fair enough. Okay, well we'll scrap the
Does that mean we can tame it?
could tame. I was thinking maybe we could cut a deal with it if it was, if it was
As
like a
a
dragon
matter of
and
fact.
intelligent. But if it's tameable, if it's like a dog, maybe can we get wyvern snacks? What do wyverns like to eat other than hobbitses?
You.
I mean,
other than
deer,
They can.
like
There
deer,
is
pigs, live animals. I guess if we just bring it live animals on a regular basis, it might like us.
So can we like sort
there
of
is another useful piece of information though.
Go on.
There, your speculation is correct. Wyverns are in fact tameable, and in fact that there is a regiment of wyvern riders that operate
Yeah.
as kind of like the elite army, the elite forces of the Stradivarian military.
I remember you saying that.
See, my thoughts are, right, we've put all of this work into these illusions to make the show pop. But if we can have an actual wyvern there, throw in some effects around,
You're right.
I think it'll really add something.
You're right. So what do? Do we like dig a big pit, throw lots of bits of boar in there, trap the wyvern in there, and sort of hide next to the pit?
I thought we had to, knock it out with a club and then feed it berries while it was unconscious or something.
Feed it
Yeah,
berries
like in
and
the yard,
occasional
you-
narco paste to keep it unconscious. Eventually, it just gets decides it likes us. Maybe that's
Kiki,
Either that or,
your inner
weaken it.
Viking there.
Either that or considerably weaken it, knock it down to just mostly beaten up, and then throw some kind of spherical objects at it.
Yeah. Right, got you. Yeah, that works.
Oh yeah. I hear
Would
that
Kiki's
those kinds
parlor
of
count towards
operations.
this?
Those kinds of operations are typically more successful if you can manage to poison or paralyze them first.
I have heard that.
So that's covered Ark, Palworld, and Valheim. Very succinct order.
I thought that last one was Palworld.
That was that last one.
That's
was
what we
Palworld.
said.
Yeah.
Oh.
You
So,
did say Pal World.
just to check, Ginger, what is the size
Mhm.
category of a wyvern?
A wyvern is considered a large creature under normal circumstances, although they can
Oh.
go up to they can go up to very large.
Here's a funny thing I've just figured out, guys. A dead wyvern counts as an object of size large. I can animate that.
You want to
So we don't
animate
actually-
a wyvern corpse?
So
I
we
can
don't
turn it- I
actually
can
need to
turn
tame
it
it.
into a dancing item.
We don't actually need to tame it. We just need a good taxidermist.
Uh-huh. I mean, the idea of a rotting animated wyvern corpse, is horrific. Very necromancer.
But it would have to be dancing. So
I would rather a friendly
Um,
living one than some sort of horrific rotting necrotic fucking dancing corpse. That sounds kind of horrifying.
it'd be funny.
Yes. Yes.
It's
and
very
terrifying.
It's very and your brother.
Yes, isn't it just?
I'm sorry to say, but typically the dancing item kind of works for the inanimate objects. The dancing is mostly just kind of bobbing around.
Hey, no,
I will say,
I can command
I
it to dance.
yes, you can command it to dance, and it would kind of look like if you imagine a first time puppeteer had gotten a puppet of the thing and just started kind of making it do a vague jig. That's the kind of thing you could
No
expect.
tap dancing wyverns.
No tap dancing wyverns, but maybe rhythmically bobbing up and down and slamming into things, sure.
And there we go. I have placed the appropriate meme in D&D room.
Indeed.
I swear I will have revenge for the death of my brother. Elf, you will have my bow. Dwarf, you will have my axe. Necromancer, and you will also have your brother.
Yeah. I remember that one. I think I saved that
Love
on my
it.
phone way back.
Yeah.
Also seen a comic version.
Yep. Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's what I
sketch
was
been...
looking for.
Where's
Kind of
that?
like the dirty little vegetable one. It got better with a comic.
Oh, the dirty little vegetable one is fantastic.
Dad loves it every time that one's posted.
Yeah, where is that? Got that. Sure, I've got that saved.
Sending that a die is so fucking mean.
I've shown it to so many times
It's
already.
such an old one. I mean, oh my god, that's people have been sending that to die for at least 10 years.
Longer than the comic version existed. I'm so glad they made a manga adaptation of that light novel, because now they just need an anime. Oh shit! I bet there's a video somewhere.
There must be. Someone must have done it.
Ah, there we go. I found the picture.
Yes.
So we're going to do some wyvern slaying, but we've got a song to sing first.
Indeed. As bards do, you're going to have to brag and see what kind of money you can gather before.
Yeah.
I found a version voiced over by dudes.
Really?
Oh, post it. Post it.
Sure, why not?
Go on.
Background noise, why not?
Background
I'll
noise?
just add die, because why not?
Yep, cool. In fact, just because we've been doing the game for a while now, people need a quick break. Let's hear it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, you crippled bitch. On your knees for daddy. I'm your dirty little vegetable.
Oh God, that's so rough. Oh,
Jesus Christ.
oh.
Where have you posted it?
Background noise.
It's in background noise.
Yeah.
Why
did they have to get what was obviously a guy to do the second half? Jesus Christ.
I'm sure it's two different guys.
Oh gods, is this the Australian
I don't know the channel at all. I just looked up the.
No. There's one where they dub erotic mangas in Australian English.
They dub what? Sorry.
They dub erotic mangas in Australian English.
What?
Yep, that's it. The last time I saw it, they were just absolutely fucking dying because they were just like, "Oh, my mum watches this channel."
Oh no!
Oh yeah, I think it might be them. I I love the comment of in there. We got, I already regret this.
Yeah, I thought.
Here we go. Share background noise. There we go. It's a long video. Don't watch it now. But
oh yeah,
Northern English.
Yeah, they do various different language,
God.
different slangs. But yes, someone. Oh yeah, no, Di will love that.
That is going to be watched later. Jesus Christ.
I think the Australian one, the manga got translated to "My mum's too fucking hot, mate."
Yeah, can recommend Sort House. Didn't that team just end up breaking up for the normal, usual internet YouTube reasons of
Well,
nonsense?
the guy who ran it was more popular than his crowd, and it kind of got to his head, and he went off and went solo without them.
Yep, like I said, the normal
Uh,
YouTube bullshit reasons. Did he then
Of course.
stop being popular by any chance?
No, he's still quite popular. I think he's called Wilbur Soot.
Okay. Well, yeah, fair enough, but dick move. If you and your
Well, I
buddies are
think it's
doing
'cause he-
something, when you are rising to the top, you raise those around you with you. That way you don't
I
end up.
think he moved out. He moved out of where he was living
Mhm.
and was too far away because they did it all in person. They'd record essentially in his mum's garage.
Fair. No, I'm a big believer in raising up those around you as well as you rising to the top. That way you've got people to hang out with, and not be like, oh lol, it's just
Oh
me
yeah,
being fucking a twat now.
like the spear diver, the free diver who did spearfishing. There was a Japanese spear diver that I used to watch.
Oh
Who'd
fuck,
do
he was brilliant. Yeah.
he did free diving with spearfishing, and he'd then bring the fish back as part of the video and show how he cooks and prepares them all and scales them and stuff. And he made enough money from the YouTube channel that he was able to set up on the remote island that he was living on with his community a factory, employ most of the island, and has a thriving business selling fish jerky.
Yes, very
Right,
based
so-
channel. Anyway, on to speaking of jerky, wyvern jerky. Anyone?
That's 10 tips,
You
but I'll
haven't had
accept
the-
it.
You haven't had the opportunity to make wyvern jerky yet, but you do have some wyvern meat cuts that are, as of right now, I believe, in Piper's parlor, and probably not doing too well at this point. Maybe you ought to get rid of them soon, given that it's been, I believe, 3 days since you acquired them in a non-refrigerated state.
Hang on. There's two halflings and a dwarf in this party. How has that cooked wyvern steak lasted 3 days?
It wasn't cooked.
I thought we were putting it in the bag of holding.
We did put it in the bag of holding. It should be basically equivalent to vacuum packing something.
Yeah.
No, that's not the case. A standard bag of holding
Oh, it's got another
is
effing person.
is an extra dimensional pocket, and it has its own internal atmosphere that is sealed, but both time flows and it's not particularly vacuum sealed. It's just basically the equivalent of having an airtight door on a cupboard.
Right.
There's only 10 minutes of breathable air in there, right?
Yes.
Correct, which gets refreshed whenever you open it.
You're right. It's going to be on the point of we either dry it and jerky it, or it's going to start getting a bit minging fairly soon. I mean, it's not been like hot weather recently. It's been cold, rainy shit, and fish flying out the sky at us.
I mean, what's the weather been like on the astral plane is the question.
The weather on the astral plane does not influence the state of the bag of holding, and the current state of the bag of holding is consistently somewhat cool. Think basement's pantry.
It was cool until it claimed to be cool. Now it's a nerd.
But yes, the stakes in the bag of holding, if your party doesn't figure out some way to either preserve them in the next 24 hours or eat them in the next 24 hours, will no longer be considered viable food.
In that case,
Well,
Not
let's just
without
like
using
dry and salt them.
no. Right, we put on a
We
performance.
just sell it all now.
We put on a performance. We grill them up as part of the performance. People get to go to the performance and listen to us singing about killing wyverns whilst eating a chunk of wyvern.
Yeah.
Adds a bit of credibility.
I mean, you just sell it all the meat at that performance, and everything's good.
Yeah.
Tattoo.
Ginge, if we were to do this, what are the limits on unseen servant by way of acting as a cashier or like stall clerk?
Unseen servants perform a single simple task and then wait for additional orders.
Have you met
Okay,
many
so-
cashiers?
Yeah. So if we just say sell meat, it's this much.
It will sell one piece of meat and then wait for additional orders.
Wow, that's awful.
Yeah, unseen servants kind of need to be, ordered around. It's
Kiki, just
It's not
make
exactly
the
a-
instruction part of the chorus of the song we're singing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that would work. Can we like encode it into a sound, make it some sort of a built-in command every time they hear like a ding on the
Accept the 7 silver, give out a piece of meat. Accept the 7 silver, give out a piece of meat. Accept the 7 silver, give out a piece of meat.
The issue is when you get to the end of that verse and have to go into the triangle solo.
You could always use that thing they were doing with smartphones recently, where they were instructing smartphones to go to websites in hypersonic frequencies. Using it to scam people because they'll play this sound when they walk past them.
Yep. Very easy shit.
10
to do.
unseen servants respond to hypersonic frequency instructions.
So what you're saying is, in other words, phones need to be programmed to understand that people don't speak in hypersonic.
It's literally yes. There was a scam where people would stand at busy crossings and play it on repeat as they're walking when the lights changed. And anyone who had their phone turned on to do the, OK Google, whatever it's called, would go to the website and then download something and compromise the phone.
That's so retarded.
Well, the people who made it never thought, "Oh, we gotta stop it from listening at high frequencies."
You wait to see what happens with the fucking AIs when that gets picked up properly.
But it's been blocked now.
I've been doing some fun stuff with AI recently.
Oh no, another tangent. I can see it happening.
No. We're sticking on topic.
So, describe to me what you guys are going to do.
It's time for the inflation chorus. We say, and then inflation strikes. Accept the 8 silver, get out a piece of meat. Accept the 8 silver, hand out a piece of meat. Accept the 8 silver and hand out a piece of meat.
You're going to need to find a different solution to that particular problem, I'm afraid. Not unless
Listen
you
before
want
the
to
prices go
literally
up.
have not unless you want to literally have the entirety of the song consist of instructions to the unseen servant.
No. It doesn't have to be the whole song. It just needs to be the part that Kiki's covering.
But Kiki
Yeah, like
will
a
be playing
backing track.
bagpipes.
Okay. In whatever this world's version of Morse code is, I'll just do that in the triangle the whole time.
It's not just bagpipes. I can play other instruments.
Ting, 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 ting.
So
We could do this a cappella.
when you make your way across the bridge that runs over the Donheim River, you are able to make your way towards a kind of market square of sorts. in the immediate surrounding, once you enter the square, you see that there are a variety of shops which are actually much more useful than just mining equipment or things of that nature. For example, the thing that immediately catches your eye is a magic items shop for general purpose homesteading and other what effectively amounts to home appliances. For example, just looking through the window, you're able to see an advert for what appears to be a knife that is capable of toasting bread as it slices through it through the use of dwarven magical and runings. So presumably there's some way to convert a flaming knife into a weapon, unlike a pickaxe that specifically targets rocks. But yes, besides that, you also see that there is a pastry shop that is just simply called Lily's, as well as you can see that there is a small kind of like not quite a stage area, kind of like a raised bit in the middle of this that you would presume it will be where the equivalent of a town crier or maybe somewhere where small performances or busking occurs. It doesn't appear to be occupied as you make your way in, but it currently is the morning. These things do tend to happen in the evening.
That's perfect. Are we all ready for this, guys?
Yeah.
All right, let's head on up and put out a call. In fact, let's someone's got. If Essig rings his triangle aggressively, much like a town crier with a bell, and someone else calls something out, come one, come all, see the great wyvern slayers. Come pay tribute, and we can come slay your wyvern, or something to similar effect. What do you
Triangle
reckon?
would be great for like the background music of a boss battle against a wyvern.
No, I mean just to announce ourselves first. Start
I'm
drawing
just
the
thinking
crowd
that'd be
before we
great for a
play.
game.
Well, as you are in this town square area, you notice that there seems to be a reasonable amount of foot traffic occurring at this point, and you can see that there is a couple of eyes that seem to be attracted in your general direction. Actually, you can feel that at least a considerable portion of those eyes end up being attracted towards you specifically. You get the impression that your elven-like features are causing at least a little bit of reason to cast their gaze in specifically your direction. But for the most
Your
part, it seems as though people are largely ignoring you unless you have already started making an intentional racket and trying to gather people's attention. So,
I think I know getting attention.
well then,
You know what?
what
Let's
I'm
do
going
it.
to
I've got.
what
Come on,
I'm
sorry.
going to do is I'm going to say, you guys take us away, describe what your party does right at this moment upon first arriving in the town square, and I will describe to you what the response is.
Okay, right as I arrive there, I think back to the previous city, and I think about that filthy dwarf, and I hope his family died in the collapse.
Well,
Excellent.
I would like to do a large scale illusion, like I did with the that billboard in the first town, right in the center of this place, with a broad bright flashing display, essentially blaring out colors and generally just making a noise visually, ready for someone like, I would suppose, Bobby as our front man to step up and announce us.
Hold on a
Don't
second.
mind me, I misclicked there.
What did you do?
Godgar slaps his hands together and causes a cacophonous boom.
You know what? Actually, yeah. Why not? If they'll get people's attention.
It certainly will.
Okay.
All right. Bobby and Essig, what are you two doing besides reminiscing of good times?
Okay, I'm going to create a minor illusion of essentially how big can I make this minor illusion? 5-foot cube. Okay, basically where I stand will be a rage of fire that will separate apart. And as I stand forward, I go, "Come all, come see the fearless wyvern slayers. Hear our tale, taste our wares. Ever tasted a wyvern? We have. We kill them, we eat them, and we're prepared to give you a taste too." And sort of carry on like that, with just generally being extremely braggadocious about how fucking fantastic we are. And sorry, I'm eating chicken tendies because
Nevertheless.
I'm apparently, 8.
You're trying to get into character. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's tried to eat you. Now, how about you try and eat it?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
It hasn't eaten you, but you've eaten it. If you want to drink it, we can probably sort you out with one of those as well. Hang them on your door. Let those flappy winged freaks know who's really the boss around here. You're not scared of them. I know I'm not. And look at me. I'm smaller than you lot. You're not exactly tall yourselves. I'm smaller. I kill them. Bring them on.
Right. I would say each of you roll your choice of performance and either performance or persuasion.
Can
Kate,
we
is anything doing anything to contribute to all this?
can we do a
I think everybody gets a bardic inspiration from each other as well.
Yeah.
I know I certainly am going to be doing something.
That's what I was trying to say.
There we go.
Perfect.
I'll throw
So
one
we're
D8.
basically all rolling a d20 all rolling performance plus d8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whoever I gave it to though gets to roll 2d8s and pick the one they want.
Okay, so I've got 25 there.
You can have it.
And I got 20. Oh goodness, I got 30.
Codgar, who are you giving your performance to?
I will give
Codgar,
it to
who are you
Kiki.
giving your inspiration? Kiki
Damn,
gets
wish it was to me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
I'll
24.
give it to Tote then. I'll give it to Tote.
I'll be kind and say that you gave it to Code.
Oh, cool. All right, 26.
I got 21.
Righto. So everybody's described what they're doing. Piper
Jamming
is
out on
effectively
the,
creating using a major illusion to create a large, flashing, obnoxious billboard. Bobby,
Yeah, it's gonna have like
hype
a.
man, and
It's
Bobby's
gonna
being
have
a
like
hype man,
weapon and
effectively being his own town crier, and basically advertising your party's abilities. Cardgar is doing what again?
I think I did a big clap, and then I guess I'm going to start setting up the food and getting the scent of the cooking meat out there for everyone.
Oh, I forgot to
Okay,
mention.
yeah, that
I'm
makes
also
sense.
going to have my cape billow impressively.
yeah. I'm
If
gonna have
there's
my.
wind, I'm going to have it blow into the wind in an impossible manner. And if there is no wind, I'll just have it billow. However.
Yeah, illusion wise, it's going to be a big billboard essentially saying Wyvern Slayers in neon lights, as it were, with a wyvern and a 3-frame animation essentially of of the wyvern having its head chopped off.
Yes,
Just cycling.
yes, I can picture that. And what is Essig getting up to? What's his contribution to all this?
Oh, I was kind of just jamming out on the triangle, summoning the power of being cool to get people's attention.
Right. Okay. So you're just generally speaking, you are the alarm bells.
Yes.
Excellent. Right. What is everybody's totals? I know that Essig got a 26.
I got 21.
I got a 30.
And I got a 25.
Okie dokie. That's 102 divided by 4, averaging out to a 25.5 for the purposes of throwing a big old we slayed the wyverns. Here's our proof. Come enjoy the spoils of our victory celebration.
We're so
Righto.
cool celebration.
Yep.
Yeah, quite literally. But with that said, Cardgar, everybody else is doing what effectively amounts to being a bard. However, Cardgar is doing what more so would be described as being a chef. So I would say roll me a check to determine your ability in setting up a stand and getting a fire going and getting some cooked meats going, etc., etc.
Yeah, sure. What would be an appropriate role?
If you have cooking tools, that would be the most appropriate. Failing that, survival would be the next bet.
I have brewer's tools.
That would not be appropriate. Although, I do have a suggestion. There are a variety of shops nearby. Perhaps try looking and seeing if anybody can either sell you or lend you some equipment for the purposes of cooking wyvern steaks.
Okay, yeah. I guess I'll see if any shops have like tongs and pokey things and other things you'd use to cook.
Believe,
Righto.
I can't remember if that's exactly the one, but I think that is the AI Suno song they did for the Wyvern song, for the Wyvern battle as well. So we should have a rock melody to sing of the actual event itself.
Very nice. Well, I would say if Cardgal wants to, he can spend 5 gold pieces acquiring the necessary cooking gear from a nearby shop owner as a kind of can I borrow this in can I lend this in exchange for a 5 gold pieces for the day. If you want to buy it permanently, that'll be 10.
I thought we determined that we had appropriate cooking tools and were storing them essentially in the parlor because we are traveling kill, cook, and eaters.
I mean, it's not the first time that Cardgar's cooked for the party. So,
Indeed,
We had all the equipment when we cooked in Varpak.
When you cooked in Varpak, you cooked the big fish using what effectively amounted to the wire grill that was on the boat of the person that transported you to Varpak.
how did we
And
cook
that wire
the whale
on a campfire?
and wyvern?
The wyvern the first time round was also a campfire.
Okay.
Right, buy the tools, buy the cooking tools outright, and we'll just add them to our kit.
Yeah, I've added chef's tools to my sheet, and I've taken 10 gold off.
Right, so very good. And you can use survival for that, and in doing so, you will have advantage. If eventually you manage to get proficiency in cook's tools, which is basically just a matter of pay someone to give you a quick how-to, then it'll all be good.
Okay.
But that said, I'd say roll me survival with advantage for the purposes of cooking up a whole shitload of
Well, that
wyvern
didn't
stuff.
go very well.
You're right, that didn't. There is, however, a couple of options I can suggest. Since I'm being kind, if somebody wants to offer you another bardic inspiration, that might save it.
Oh, certainly.
Also, once per session, I offer your party in general the option to make one reroll as part of DM inspiration. If you want, you could spend that here.
I'm happy to just give him an inspiration.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so
I think we should give him I think we should
Bardic, that is.
give him a bardic inspiration and what did he roll? A 5. Yeah, re-roll that 5 as well.
So you're
Yeah,
going to use
okay.
your once a session re-roll a d20. he
Yeah, we
says.
don't want to give everyone food poisoning. Jesus.
I mean, sounds kind of funny, so let's do it, actually.
does
It is
sound
kind
kinda
of
funny.
amusing. Yes.
But, all right, let's try this again. So 20
This-
plus 1d8, 28.
This large of a
as
crowd,
good as
one
you're
of them
gonna
might
get.
actually die.
Oh, hang on just a moment.
Yeah, this is how we killed the wyvern. We gave him iffy food.
And now for our
So-
live demonstration.
In what could very well be the greatest glow up in terms of a reroll I've ever seen, you've managed to go from a total of a 7 to a 28.
I'm
So
okay
well
with
done.
this.
A pretty good reroll when it goes up by 21.
Yeah. So,
I feel ripped off. We could have done better.
Codgar manages to cook up the remainder of your wyvern steaks, slicing them finely or thickly, or a mixture of everything in between, preparing them in such ways that they're able to be kept warm and moist for the purposes of being rapidly sold off as the party throws this great big impromptu celebration that sees a great amount of activity and attention from the citizens of Donheim. It's not long before you end up attracting the attention of the guards, who also join in and are quite impressed with the ability of your with your bard's professed abilities to slay wyverns, especially when backed up by the distinctive spicy flavor of the wyvern steaks that are thankfully still good to eat. How much of the meat are you going through?
All of it at this point.
Yeah, I reckon we sold a lot. We're not,
Yeah.
It's not going to last more than 24 hours.
Well,
Certainly,
with a performance
certainly
check
make
of
sure
a
we've got a burger or two ourselves. But yeah, no, sell it.
with a performance check of a 25.5, I would say you are able to sell all of the meat, and in doing so, make a decent chunk of money at a considerable profit. I would say you guys can split a total of, let's be nice and say 240 gold between you.
So, 60 each. Cool.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I need to actually spend my money at some point.
Yeah, you know what?
There is a magic item shop here.
There is a magic item shop here. And as I mentioned earlier, unlike the previous magic items place that you went to, this is actually not just dedicated towards the sale of mining gear.
Yeah.
So you may be able to find something useful.
Probably a good idea because if I was actually carrying this amount of gold coins, I'm gonna have weight issues. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Is yours also in the quadruple digits of gold?
I have 4 digits of gold. Yes, I have.
Yes. Nice.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. It is worth pointing out that for the sake of not being a pedantic little shit, I don't keep track of weight for that purpose, especially once you've gained access to some form of interdimensional storage, which you have. But
It's just
when it
annoying
starts
at that
getting
point.
to the point of 5 digits worth of gold, that hits the tipping point of
At that point,
Craig.
at that point you find someone that's willing to do banking and get a banker's draft and go, here's a piece of paper. Give me a line of
Trig,
credit.
Surely,
but no, I've got a
surely at that point you just
better idea.
stop.
Start having 6 digits of bronze each.
No. You convert it all into electrum,
So it's just like twice as much, right? If I remember correctly, is an electrum like half a gold?
Electrum's half a gold, yeah. So that would
Yeah.
double it.
Electrum is
But
half a
you could
gold.
go silver or copper. You could just have literally shit tons of copper.
I don't know, because if you do it in
recommend you
Electrum,
don't go out in lightning if that's what you're doing.
if you do it in Electrum, not only is it ridiculous amounts of Electrum, it's also a currency no one cares to trade in.
You know, if I ever run
That
a
is-
proper
that
D&D
is
campaign,
not-
I probably will actually have Electrum be like that coin that no one knows what the fuck it's actually.
Like,
Electrum is a currency that exists in this setting. However, it is very, very rarely used, and it is almost exclusively traded in by the tieflings. For the reason that Electrum is the currency that is primarily used in the city of Brass for the express purpose of the sale of slaves. So you can carry your currency in Electrum, but that comes with connotations.
maybe
I
you
mean-
could just have your friend, in inverted commas, who happens to wear, sackcloth, carry it for you whilst he's shackled up and on the end of a stick.
You know, we could just convert it into more room space. We could essentially have our own large tavern room for the combined weights of our gold.
You missed out on the opportunity to have a currency that's used exclusively for slave trading that's worth 0.6 gold.
If memory serves, Kiki, we came
It's more of an American reference, never mind.
conclusion that every time you want to expand the size of the parlor, it's 1,000 gold per 5-foot cube worth of volume. If memory
Yes,
serves.
yes, but that
So
means that,
you-
with
If you guys do want to pool a tremendous amount of your current cash together, you could double the size of of Piper's Parlor.
we could even multiply it by about by 3, triple it.
Hmm.
At which
It
point
is, of
there's
course,
enough
worth
space for
pointing out-
everyone comfortably.
It is, of course, worth pointing out that the gold that went into one iteration of Piper's Parlor cannot be pulled back out again. Not without just
No, but
selling the item off to somebody else for a chunk of money, but there is a loss
but we
there.
could make another one and have 2.
Could have to. But that is an issue to talk about when you guys get back to Varpak at some point. For now, you're not in Varpak, you're in Donheim, and you've just made a significant amount of hubbub, and in doing so, convinced a considerable portion of this town's population that their saviors have arrived.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, sounds exactly like the time to either make a ton of money or run away.
I was thinking exactly that. Yes, maybe. Why not
Or
both?
both.
Uh-huh. So make a
Right,
ton of money, shag as many as we can, and then run. Maybe kill a wyvern if we kind of have to.
I'm going to be back in 2 minutes. You guys make a quick plan as to what your next plan of action is. I'll be listening in, so feel free to say things that will be useful for me to plan for.
We could just admit we're frauds, even though we're not. It'll be like a reverse con.
Hmm.
I reckon we just request the bounty essentially from the rest of them.
I'm hoping that word of this
Oh no.
noise, etc., is going to get back to the mayor, because you would think that would do, what we've just done would make its way to someone like the mayor. It is kind of their job to be on top of shit that's going off, and
We can do.
Go on.
We can do the whole auctioneer / market trader style thing as well. Yeah, just auction off the bits of the beastie before it's been slain, so that we've got essentially a pre-made list of clients.
Not just that, we could pull a producers. We could sell 300, 400, 500% of this wyvern for advance payments.
I do not object to that.
And then we just have to run away from the town.
Now, if I understand, Essig is pretty much impossible to fail when it comes to persuasion, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is not far from accurate.
Are you familiar with the storyline of the producers?
No.
Because honestly, you would probably quite. It's a Mel Brooks movie from like the 70s. It's actually it's basically about a couple of play producers that have worked out that actually you can make more money putting on a bad play than a good play, and just bigging it up so much and essentially selling the potential profits to people to raise money in the first place for something. So it's a case of give me $10,000 and I'll give you 25% of the box office. But you do that to 20 people with absolutely no chance of being able to pay them back, but you put on something that fails. So you've made all the money up front, and then it fails, and the box office takes a zero. It's lost money, therefore you don't have to give people back the negative amount. They've made a loss, they go, oh well, it was worth a shot. And so they decide that the best thing to do is put on a play about Hitler.
Oh, is this the Springtime for Hitler one?
It's the Springtime for Hitler song. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And obviously in the film, they've made this massive mistake because they make an ironic comedy that is absolutely hilarious and makes an absolute fucking smash hit, and they're sat there going, "Oh no, we're making loads of money, and we've promised all of it 3 or 4 times over to other people," so they kind of have to, scarp it, etc. But
Nice.
the theory's sound.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. Not that
that story of yours has just reminded me of how you guys went to an auction with the intention of scamming them all out of all of their money, and then unintentionally put on such a performance in terms of asking them to donate that you ended up making several times more money through donations than you did through the scam.
Yes.
Wasn't the donations to a scam cause, though?
Yes.
If I'm remembering correctly.
No, it's a genuine charity.
Indeed it was.
That's what I cried over, right? Because of how sentimental it was.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a genuine charity. I registered it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And to be
it is a genuine fraudulent charity.
As much money goes to that cause as goes to most end users in charities. Most charities, you're talking about 98.5% loss to administration costs.
Wait, no.
Every 60 seconds in the Shire, a minute passes.
At least 60% of the income from that charity goes directly to people of short stature.
Yeah. Like I said, it's actually far more effective than most charities. Nice. So, yes,
you guys definitely are the good guys of this story.
We're iffy little shits, but we do it with good humour and put on a good performance whilst we're doing it, and then kill something and then eat it.
But were you not entertained? He says. As the crowd.
So my question is, how long is it going to take for the mayor to hear about this and come down and go, "Oi, you little shits, what are you doing? Can we perhaps come to some sort of arrangement as to you sorting out our problem, rather than just
Oh, well, if it's an official request, we can get way more money.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Why not as well an official request as well as other people's requests. You know?
Yeah, they said it was going to be a whole
Well-
battalion, and they've been delayed like 6 months in getting here. Like, how much are they paying a whole battalion?
They end up in a war.
Yeah, but you know, we're bards. We're iffy little bards with lots of magic. We're far more valuable than a whole battalion.
Yeah, what
We're
I'm saying is,
player
how much are they
characters.
paying for a whole battalion on commission? You know, we can take a good cut of that.
Yeah.
Well,
Makes sense.
as a matter of fact, the mayor makes himself known to your party towards the end of the celebration. He actually approaches Cardgoth at first, introducing himself as Bartha. He is a dwarf of moderate stature and noteworthily extravagant-looking clothing. A
High
big,
cleanliness.
very, very high cleanliness, yes, with a big, almost platinum blonde-looking hairdo and beard combination. Think the most over-top of beardo styles of beard on this fellow, and he approaches your food stand there, Cardgar, and he says, "Well, look at this. We've got ourselves a collection of wyvern slaying heroes on our for ourselves. Hey, how much are you selling for these cuts of meat here?"
I answer honestly, except I replace silver with gold.
Well, we've already figured out how much gold that you made, so we'll just gloss over what the actual ends up actually being. All we know
Then
is
I
that
answer
you scammed
honestly,
the
since
fuck
I
out
don't
of him.
benefit from lying.
You scammed the fuck out of him regardless.
Ah, so we get more
I
money?
believe you get your 240. After
Damn.
eating the chunk of meat, he is thoroughly impressed. He seems to be fully taken in with the overall display of magical prowess and sheer braggartry that you guys were able to put on here, and says, "Well, if you're looking to make a decent bit of coin serving the Dwarven Kingdoms, then you've come to the right place. Safe to say that we've had a problem with that flying beastie for a while now, and unfortunately, the forces that we were promised seem to have just simply never really turned up. I've yet to be able to get a straight answer as precisely why that's the case, but
I figured it out.
Is it
It's 'cause
just the
they're
one
dwarves.
wyvern? Is it just the one flappy little, you know, ten dragon?
aye, from what we've been able to find out, it does appear to be one, at most two. There have been reports of a wyvern that does not match the usual one, but nobody of consistent renown has been able to verify such. So, if you were to be able to slay the creature and bring back proof of your deeds, well, we'll see what we'd be able to get sorted for you. Obviously, the body of the thing would be entirely up to whatever you feel would be appropriate. Shall we head back to my office for the sorting of negotiations?
Splendid, absolutely. I mean, yeah, this sounds like a great idea. Lead the way. And then we'll do a
As
fond
he's,
farewell to everyone there, give them all a wave, and, you know, tell them to
as you
watch
are
the
making
skies.
your way, as you're making your way away from the area, you do get a few cheers and a few sounds of disappointment that the celebrations have evidently been brought to a potentially early close by the appearance of the town mayor looking to officially hire your services. And
Ooh, they're going to get rid
as
of our
he,
actual wyvern.
Yeah, but that's
as
not as
he
fun.
leads you away, Indeed, it's not as fun. It's considerably more fun to talk about getting rid of the wyvern than actually getting rid of the wyvern.
Well, getting rid of the wyvern's going to happen like somewhere else. They're not even going to see it, so it's not really that interesting.
We could make it happen in the city. We could just do it at night when it's
You're right. We use them as shields.
Christ. Look, I wouldn't put it past you at this point. But in any
Listen,
case,
it would only be the second city we've caused mass devastation to.
yeah.
Yes.
As he makes
So
his
far.
way along the town, he is walking at a decent pace, evidently quite excited to get you into a position where you can begin negotiations. And upon arriving at a somewhat fancy looking, but otherwise not particularly out of place structure for this side of town, he directs you to the door and says, "This right here is the mayor's office. I live here myself, and otherwise this is where all of the mayoral business stuff goes. And I'll welcome you in. I'll get you a drink."
Ow.
Lovely.
Sorry, cat.
And as he makes his way in, he directs you over to a comfortable looking seating area where he himself can sit down at his desk, where you see that there's a variety of books and various other bits and pieces, and there's a cabinet filled with various dwarven liquors and the like. And he pours you all a decent tumbler glass worth of some fine, thick, brownish fluid. And he takes a drink of it himself, downing it in one go, and smacks his lips at the flavour and says, "Oh, that was good. I think I'll have another. But do feel free to savour it yourself. It's not every day, I'm sure, you get to enjoy something of this quality and vintage. Regarding the wyvern, I don't want you to kill it."
You don't want us to kill it?
No.
Screen fades to black. Next episode on.
I would do that if it were an hour from now, but no, we've still got plenty of time to discuss this.
But today was a marathon, so the preview was unnecessary. Back into the next episode.
The man looks at you in the eyes, each of you, one by one, as he says, "No, I definitely do not want you to kill the wyvern. And for a very, very important reason. That wyvern is ensuring that the town remains quiet and safe. You may notice that the area in which you were just engaging in your festivities was very well kept. It was very well maintained. No broken windows or anything along those lines. It was all nice and calm. And it's been that way since that wyvern came in and started making everybody terrified to go out and try and cause trouble regarding all of the what they call wealth inequality between the north and south ends of the river."
So what are we doing here then? Are you offering us a sum to disappear as an upfront sum for slaying this wyvern and to just not come back?
Are we silencing the people that are complaining about the wyvern?
He looks to you, Piper, and he gives you a big toothy grin and says, "Looks like that we're discussing precisely from the same hymn sheet, my dear. I am presenting you with an offer. An offer of," he thinks for a moment, "100 gold for each of you to never step foot in Donheim again."
Now, here's where we've got a problem.
We-
You see, we make far more than that off just the head of this thing alone.
Oh,
I mean,
is that the case? Is it?
far more than that. If you were to perhaps think about how many zeros you're offering us, and maybe increase the number of zeros on the right hand side of that number, we might start talking about it. But at the present moment, for a modicum of risk on our part, certainly, we're looking at making a very tidy profit. And offering us 100. I'll be honest with you. We made nearly that this lunchtime, just putting on our little bit of a do. In fact, we're probably losing that amount of money by coming and talking to you.
I should have known that you wouldn't take an offer that low.
I mean, do I have fool written on my face? I know we dress kind of funny, but money talks.
Look, you're half-sized folk from out of town. I don't know what you know, so I was trying to see if I could make some budgetary concerns.
Let me be
but
honest with you, Mr.
clearly
Mayor.
I'm dealing with people of higher caliber.
We kill wyverns for a living, sir, as well as brag and sing songs about it. We've explored other realms. We've killed flying whales. I'm wearing on my legs, on my trousers here, are parts from a creature from an astral plane that we slayed. You are talking to some very, very, very special individuals here, and you wanted to give us 100 gold? Kind of. I don't know. I'm almost insulted. How about you guys? Am I right to feel? I feel insulted. Come on, sir. Sharpen your pencil.
I wouldn't have accepted this money to be insulted like this.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to put my wig on and turn green.
Well, following the obvious cue, I suddenly turned green with a ring or whatever the hell it was.
Uh-huh.
Now you see our true forms.
He looks at the pair of you and raises an eyebrow and says, "All right, nice trick." And I can clearly see that you are somebody of a higher caliber than what I was hoping for. You are not merely braggarts, but braggarts with the actual means to be able to back it up.
I can. Do you want to know what it feels like to be blind? Let me just demonstrate. I'm going to open my lantern for a second, and then close it. At will, black, and no light will break through it. And I carry this as a gag.
He
shoves it down people's throat and they can't talk.
He does a quick couple of blinks when you open and close the lantern, because he wasn't expecting to go temporarily blind for a second.
Mm-hmm.
But then says, "All right then. Clearly it's going to take a bit more to get you lot out of my hair. So, I'm going to make you another offer. Bear in mind, this is final offer.
Mm-hmm.
I will give each of you 300 gold. And in addition, I won't use my position of authority within this office to have you labeled criminals.
You know, it's fantastic, some of the magic items we've got, isn't it? I mean, being adventurers and slaying dragons, you get so much stuff. I mean, there's this fantastic device I've got. It's running all the time. You see, it records everything everyone says and allows us to repeat it at will. And I'm going to make a deception check, I think.
I'd like to help Kiki's deception now by using illusory script to basically make it look like whatever she's showing is producing a transcript of this conversation.
Why would you make this?
That's a natural 1.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm so
hang on.
glad that you.
Which she re-rolls.
Well, as a halfling, but
Yeah, I
also,
re-roll that to 16.
also you shouldn't have done it.
But let's do it again because I've got lucky.
Yeah.
No, you're a halfling, which means that you already re-roll natural 1s.
I know, but I don't like the 16.
No, you press the button again. Unless you have advantage, we ignore the second number.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's
That's how he's been running it.
Mm-hmm.
do my deception. There we go. And it was Ez's bardic inspiration as well, right?
And I was trying to help you out to strengthen your case by making it look like whatever you're holding up as a device to prove your point is creating a transcript using a spell called Illusory Script.
Right. Well, 27's probably good enough.
Provide
Well,
subtitles.
If you want to go through with that, what you just described, I will say roll me a sleight of hand check to see if you can cast the spell without being noticed that you're casting a spell of somebody who's currently paying
Oh
attention.
God! Don't bugger it out now. We've rolled well.
What's my sleight of hand? Is 0. I'm not going to try that then.
Okay. I will be kind and say that you had the thought and thought, no, I don't think I can do that.
No, I suck at this shit. Never mind.
So,
Would be a
I am
shame if
very
everyone
actually
found
good.
out how corrupt you were now, wouldn't it?
Mm. There's a lot
I'd
of
like
people
each of
in
you
your
to roll
town.
me.
Sorry, go on.
I'd like each of you to roll me insight checks as you see the man say, I have not heard of anything along those lines, and I consider myself to be a rather well-learned fellow.
20.
27.
All of you were able to see that this man has just suddenly changed his posture to one of, oh, fuck.
Ah! Well,
Ah.
alright. I'm going to, I'm gonna say, well, before we discuss your other problem, I think you should first, we should first resolve the issue about, us not saying certain things.
Yes, I wonder, Bobby, how much do you think it would take for us to have amnesia about this conversation?
Well, this is it. I mean, apart from the fact that you clearly should have been wearing your brown trousers today. We
You
can be
see his
forgetful.
eyes dart downwards for a split second.
I would like to attempt the persuade, but I'm just going to, do it, instead I'm going to do it verbally, or not verbally, physically, by just holding my hand out, obviously expecting money.
I've got an idea. Now let's see how you deal with this.
Ah.
What I was going to suggest as my bargaining tool for freeing your mind of this winged terror was a payment up front, and then perhaps a small share for our little company with of the takings of your mine. I'm still going to offer that be the settlement of this and conclusion of this negotiation. Wyvern dead or Wyvern alive, we take 5% of your mine. And if you don't, if you want us to leave it alive, that's fine. But if you don't agree to that, we will kill the Wyvern, and I will come back and we will sell all of the parts and everything else and make far more money than you've just offered us, and in minutes. Our reputation will boom. We will be heroes of the town, and you, as the mayor, trying to criminalize us for being the heroes of the mayor, you would soon lose your office. In fact, I've heard of public officials being lynched for doing that sort of thing.
You see, he slams the glass that was in his hand onto the table, shattering it and getting his hand quite bloody in the process as he shouts, "You've said enough!"
So, shall we say 5%?
And you've been rather persuasive. go and kill the fucking dragon, he says as he sits down and doesn't even offer you looking in your direction, but promptly gives you a very strong indication that he's pissed and wants you to go away.
Well, excuse me, you don't seem to have resolved the issue of why we're not going to repeat everything that was just said here.
Yeah, I believe 5% was on the table. I did say that was the conclusion.
Oh, I do apologize. I agree.
Fantastic. I offer him my hand to shake. And a grin. A big shit-eating grin.
I'm also giving the shit-eating grin.
What? He takes a step forward, and
This guy hates us.
you can see that he goes in to grab your hand with his blood-soaked hand.
Mm-hmm.
If you can have an opportunity to try and quickly move your hand out the way if you want, or you can accept the blood-soaked hand as a handshake.
I will take the blood-soaked hand.
As he takes your hand, he leans into you and says, "You have yourself a deal. Now go fuck up my town."
Fantastic.
And you have yourself a reputation.
Have a very, very pleasant day, sir.
Fucking bards.
How about it this way? If it goes wrong,
such
we
a
all
good song
die and
about
you're
the corrupt-
fine anyway. You keep your wyvern and we're dead. You know, there's always an upside for you. You can hope for that if you like.
Don't worry, I will no longer publish the Ballad of the Corrupt Mayor. Farewell, good sir.
If you play this right, you could be in good favour with the town. You know, they're the mayor who hired the bards to take out the enemy of the town.
He's not saying anything. He's just glaring in your general vicinity at all of you.
Right. I think we're done here. Shall we?
Excellent. Now, in the as they say, where the white women at?
Where are the human women at?
Where the human women at? Where the dwarven women
Where the right. Let's depart from
Where are
here.
the elven women at?
So, may I propose? It is it is midnight, and I know
In
several of
5
us have had.
minutes?
Yeah, you've been a
I'm
bit of a
just
rush here, aren't
suggesting-
you?
I'm just suggesting that it's a very good breaking point for us
Next
to.
week it'll be 10 minutes. Next week it'll be 15 minutes.
I know. It's how you get. It's how you get your pay while
Can I make a
sneaking off from work.
suggestion?
Little.
Can we see what's in the magical trinket stop? It's not just a. This is where we make nice mining equipment. Let's see if we can find something juicy to go and yeet this wyvern with. Yay?
I
Nay?
would say it would be a good idea for your party to go and talk to the magic shop and maybe see if there's anybody who is an ex-miner for the purposes of getting a lay of the land in terms of
Yeah,
what you can
maps.
encounter.
Exactly.
We're all ex-miners.
Well, yeah, everyone was a miner at some point.
I imagine you all walk out of the mayor's now significantly less hospitable sounding office with a bunch of big happy smiles all over your face after having realized that, wow, what a fucking cunt that guy is.
Yeah, but share of the mine, guys. You ever wanted to own a silver mine, a gold mine? Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a minor share, but I'm still happy about it.
Yeah, but we're not having to work for it. That's just an income. That just ticks over.
Not complaining here.
It's not long before you find yourself in front of the magic trinket shop, which, funnily enough, has the rather uncreative name Magic Trinkets. And
Wonder what they sell here.
As you make your way in, you see that the shop is actually run by a human woman, which is vaguely surprising, given that this is the first non-dwarf that you guys have seen upon entering the town. The token human, if you will. And she looks at you all and gives you a big, warm smile and says, "Oh, the saviors of the town! Well, saviors to be. What can I get for you all? What are you looking for? I'm sure I'll be able to either offer you what you want or something similar."
We're looking for some fun toys. We're gonna, as you
For a
know.
lady friend?
No, I'm thinking, more for exploding wyverns into lots of little small pieces.
Ah, gotcha. Not for a lady friend. Right.
No.
Okay, then. My name's Katie, by the way.
I'm more than enough of a toy for most women. I don't need anything else. If you want to try, I'm available. Is she good looking? Is she average? Are we talking mid? Because mid, I will flirt with quite happily.
This is the definition of 5 out of 10.
Fine, perfect, wonderful.
This is a 5 out of 10 that you suspect that with a lot of makeup enhancements could maybe get to a 7 out of 10. But yes, very mid. And
Dude, I can show you some makeup tutorials where solid 1.5s have gotten to like 9. Makeup is fucking cheating. It's lying. It's fucking witchcraft.
No man should start a sentence with, "Dude, I could show you some makeup tutorials."
Well, it's a good job that's how we finish the sentence, isn't it?
I fucking
Yes.
can though. Some of them are absolutely fucking horrifying. Honestly, makeup is fucking witchcraft.
I've seen the one with the woman with no teeth turned into somebody 20 years younger.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this Katie proceeds to show you around the shop and begins showing you various bits and pieces. She shows you how there's a variety of items in this shop, which can largely be summarized as modern day kitchen appliances achieved through the use of dwarven runecraft. Like, for example, there is the knife that toasts, and a toaster, and an oven that runs on magical rune stuff, and various other bits and pieces. There's a self-rolling rolling pin. There is all kinds of
Hold on.
various kitchen and homeware stuff that you could use to, if you were to spend a considerable amount of gold, effectively allow you to have the ability to perform the tasks of a small selection of servants by yourself with very little effort.
Hang on a second.
How much?
That knife that toasts. That is a fire enchantment. I'm assuming a very low level one on a metal blade. Yes.
Yeah. That's I suppose if you were to try and use this on somebody that's alive, it wouldn't be very pleasant.
Can we crank that up so it does significantly more of the toasting on impact? And perhaps put it onto, say, a rapier?
I can't do that. I get these things bought in, but
Right.
I could put in an offer for you. I could ask my supplier.
Okay. Okay.
How big is this
Are you
oven?
after weapons? Is that what you're looking for?
It's certainly something that is a consideration. Yes, weapons or something that can. We've dealt with wyverns before, and bragging aside, etc. They are a dangerous foe. They have poison in their tails. They often have a fire breath. So
At any point, do you lift your shirt to show the gigantic scarified impact points from where you were literally impaled?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Why not? That's fucking. Check out my fucking scars, darling.
Yep, there is a palpable look of simultaneous amazement and just disgust at seeing that wound.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I mean,
that's only a week old, and even with magical healing, that still looks pretty raw.
I'm actually quite interested in that oven. How big is it? Is it like microwave or full oven?
It's like a full-sized oven. It's something that if you were to put it into the parlor, it would consist of its own 5x5x5 cube space.
Oh, I
And
won't fit it.
it would effectively allow you to create an entire 5-course meal by effectively by yourself, because like, for example, pots and pans placed on it are self-stirring. Other items, like if you were to put a pizza in the oven, it would rotate itself to ensure even cooking. It's a magically enhanced cookware set, and it's apparently worth a good few hundred gold.
How rare are they? Are they like? Will I find these things all over the place, or?
You haven't seen anything along these lines before. You've over in Varpak, you were able to find conventional looking ovens that ran on just simply burning things. You were also able to see things that looked as though they were largely the same concept but using firestone. This is the first time you've seen an oven that literally looks as though everything about it is powered through magic.
You see, my issue is I'd need another parlor essentially to fit the oven in. So it's a no at this point.
And I imagine you described that to the woman.
Yeah.
Well, if you say that, she would say, "Oh well, if you want, I can put one aside for you for a couple months. If you need time to get something set up, if you're looking to buy a new place."
That'd be
I could
great,
do
actually. If you can hold one for a little while, I might be back. I'll probably be back.
well. If your address is anywhere within the Fire Iron Concordat, we could get a delivery service sorted.
I'll open the parlor and go. It's a little small at the moment.
Oh, I don't think that counts as being within the Concordat. That's extra dimensional space.
I mean, it's within the Concordat at the moment.
Yeah, but you can't give me a postcode, can you?
Probably not. No.
When you can, come back here and I'll get yourself. I can help you get sorted with all sorts of things. Your space does look a bit small right now, and I can see why you'd have to turn down this particular item. But in the future, let's cover that another time. You're looking for weapons, aren't you?
Weapons or armor? Did you see? I don't fancy getting scars like this again. We can do it. We've done it before. We can take these things. But ideally, yeah, maybe
She
not die in the
doesn't
process
say
again.
anything. But she gestures towards what is apparently a wall.
Okay.
And she has a knowing smile on her face as she does so.
Can I do an arcana or something and see if it's an illusionary wall?
I'm gonna poke the wall.
That also works.
Kurtrak fails to poke the wall, as there is apparently no wall. And as Kurtrak pokes the wall, she makes her way over to said wall herself and simply walks through it, saying, "Follow me." And assuming that you all do,
Yeah, absolutely.
you are you are quickly greeted with a second area in the shop, which up until this point has been entirely concealed from the outside. Something you suspect to be must be some kind of purpose for this level of concealment. But um, as she welcomes you in, you're able to see that there is it is effectively transformed into a weapons shop behind this illusory wall. And you can see that there is a variety of various bits and pieces, all with dwarven runics applied down the sides of swords and rapiers, spears. There's even a lance in the back. And it appears as though that this is indeed a dedicated magic weapons shop that apparently is available to people who simply ask the right questions, such as, do you have something for killing a town, a thing that has been bothering the entire town for over half a year at this point?
I'm glad you didn't say killing a
Just for
town, because we already know how to do that.
Yes.
At least the downtown.
Yep.
So, what I will say is that before this, what remains of this session turns into Jinta talks you through the process of shopping. Within this specific space, your party
Yes.
will be able to spend a considerable amount of money buying most mid to low level enchanted gear.
Mm-hmm.
So, think about what you think may be possible. If you think this is pretty obviously possible, like for example, a conventional weapon that just has a +1 enchantment, you'd be able to buy that. If you want something that's a bit more extravagant or unique, ask me and I will tell you if something like that is in stock and what the price would be. But otherwise, just simply either post into the D&D room a list of the various bits of equipment that you'd be interested in, or alternatively DM them to me if you are looking for something that you want to keep as a surprise for your fellow party members.
I want a +10
And
triangle.
that wouldn't be considered a weapon.
I want a +1 triangle.
Still not a weapon. But yes,
No, why did you
is the
fail me art of the
situation that
deal?
that's the situation that we're leaving that we're going to be leaving the session off.
I've
Cool.
got a couple of ideas. Something
I
to
know
get
Kiki's
my...
wanting to get to bed, but if any of the rest of you want to go through details after the session, feel free to stick around and we can talk about it for a bit and effectively do an impromptu shopping session.
I'll think about stuff and get back to you on it.
Fair enough.
Righto.
Hey, I'm just gonna drop this in here for you to have a look at and a think about as to whether or not that's viable. I think it's in keeping with what a bard might want to have as a a sidearm.
Now, traditionally, song blades, as they swing through the air, play music through their interactions with the air itself. However, I am of the opinion that a song blade should work more like a theremin.
So
it starts
spooky
singing and
alien
whining
music?
when it gets near to someone.
So basically, you're proposing that if a song blade were to be made available to you, that it would sound like spooky alien music whenever you're fighting.
Potentially, some people have managed to make things that are less spooky alien music. Let's face it. Remember Star Trek? The original series Star Trek theme tune was done on a theremin.
I want to hear a triangle cover of it.
But it's, you know.
Anyway, with all of that said, I can't see any particular reason to keep the recording going if you guys want to be getting going. So maybe hit the not live button, Trig.
I am going to unalive this stream. Right, and we have had a couple of viewers, but they've not stuck around for too long. But
Any comments?
pardon? No comments, I'm afraid,
No
on this
comments.
one. But it's a shame because they missed out.
Ah,
Certainly the negotiation section was actually pretty good, I thought. And the performance,
So-
of course. But yeah,
Hello
I
to
thought
future
you-
historians documenting my life.
indeed.
I
Guys
thought
are
you guys
so good at
appreciated
lying.
That little twist of the mayor actually wants you to just bugger off and leave the wyvern flying about.
It was a nice touch.
No. I totally saw that. I didn't expect. I wasn't sure whether or not it would be the mayor, but I was sat there thinking, 6 months terrorized by a wyvern and the troops not arrived yet. Either something awful's happened to that troop, and for some reason the new troop. The whole thing was fishy. You don't have a 6-month wait time on something like that. Nothing's happened.
I see you've clearly never had to deal with the NHS.
Yeah.
Well, it's more. It's more that the townsfolk had gotten used to it.
Right.
I see you clearly have not dealt with the NHS.
I'm going to I'm going to end the stream at this point before we incriminate ourselves further as to complete thought criminals. But yes.
Yep.
Good night, everyone who watches this in the future. Or good day, good morning, whatever. Hello.
There's not gonna be times a day in the future.
No,
Moron.
that's it.
We
Right.
should have
Anyway,
done this.
ending stream.
Bye-bye.
Right, nigga.
You completely embarrass us in front of the future historians, dude. They're gonna think we thought that time of day would continue to exist. They're gonna be like, oh, look at those stupid people in the past.